What is going on, YouTube? Since Wrath here, and the question of the day is, what is Ruse? Got a lot of my friends are like, hey man, I constantly see you playing this. Why? What is it? Well, basically, when I'm bored, or when I don't have anybody online I want to play with, or when I'm just tired of people camping behind their claymores, I put in Ruse. It is one of the best strategy games on the console, in my opinion. And I'm showing you guys right now the different maps that are for this game. And what I'm going to be doing here is showing you guys low settings and a quick clip of AI battles, because when you play against other people, it's actually it can get quite lengthy. You know, it is a World War II strategy game, and you guys see here, I can't change the game type because you can go free for all too, and then you can do team battles. But different time settings, you can do it 1939, 1943, 1945. Change your technology of your games, changes what kind of units you have available starting out. Of course, different nations. You see all the different nations here: United States, Germany, Britain, France, Italy, Russia, Japan. Or you can set the AI on random. And on top of that, you change the way your AI attacks. Okay, you have the different nations for the AI, of course, but it's difficulty, easy, medium, and hard, and also how he reacts, or what he or she does. The AI I'm talking about. Is he going to use predominantly aircraft? Is he going to be using howitzers for long-range attacks? Is he going to go for prototypes, blitzkrieging, or what have you? Front attacks. You can figure it out. All right. So I'm going to be launching this game here, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit how this game works out. I'm not trying to keep it too long. For this particular game, you're going to be going two versus two. I got the United States and Britain against... Oh, my daughter wants to say hi. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
All right, there she is. She wants to say hi. If you guys hear any other erroneous noises in the background, it's her, so don't hate me for it. Here's your beginning. Okay, you're going to start out. You're going to be looking at the whole map, and it's basically like a RTS. You need to build build up your supply, and these yellow things that you guys see on the map are actually supply caches, and you need to capture them. You can either capture from the enemy, or you can take them free, and everything costs a certain amount, of course. Elizabeth, please. And here I'm showing why this game is actually called Ruse, because you get these different cards throughout the game, and each one is a ruse. And you can do a blitzkrieg on it. You can terrorize the enemy. You can enforce yours by fanaticism. You can spy on the enemy. You can make your units invisible for a temporary time, and so on and so forth. So what you're going to be doing, you're going to be starting out, you need to build up your supply, basically. And you can build different type of buildings for it. Each one of those buildings puts out different units. Excuse me here. My daughter is messing with my mic. Can you go watch TV, please? You're going to end up pushing my mic over again. Okay. And this is one of the things I like about this game. You can actually zoom in ground level, and you can watch your units in action. You can watch them duke it out, battle it out. It's a good time. The graphics are relatively nice for this game. It's a relatively big game in the scope of the amount of things you can do on it. So I definitely enjoyed. If you zoom it all the way out, you can see your different fractions of the maps, and once you can apply your ruses to. For in this particular case, I had a what was it called? Like a speed, I guess, and I just now did a spy on the enemy, so I can see what kind of units he's got coming at me. In this particular case, I think that was a little infantry unit. You can see what I can build. I can go through, your barracks. Puts out your infantry units, and sometimes, depends on the nation, smaller tanks as well, like scout type tanks. For your actually tank yard, you can put out actually the tanks, right? And once again, the entire thing is basically dependent on what nation you are using, whether it is Germany, etc., etc., and it's modeled on real-time history. For example, if I would use Germany, I would be able to use Stuka aircraft right away. And the way I started this game is in a sequence of wars for 10 minutes. So every 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I go from 1939 to 1943, and then eventually 1945. So that will change what I have available for me. For example, in 1939, I don't have anti-tank weapons, but 1943, I get anti-tank weapons. 1945, I get super units, things like that. And the game itself is very simply made. You have the whole scope of the view, and like I'm zooming in right here, I'm showing you guys. My buddy, the United States here, is attacking enemy unit, and it's nicely detailed for the size of the game. Really, I do appreciate it. If you guys look in the town that I have right in front of my main base, I got 2 infantry units sitting in there. And when you place infantry units inside of in the little crevices of the town, they're actually invisible. That's why they're kind of blinking. You guys saw that. And you can go over all the units that you have, and basically you can find out what they are. You can do that with the enemy too, if they are visible, if they're not shrouded by the cloud of war. You can see in the fog of war types, like I have some Italian units up here on my right side. They're coming in, and I don't know what they are, but the tiles are bigger, which makes me think, okay, they're probably tanks. Once I identify those units, the actual unit figure shows up. So I'm going to get my ass kicked here in a second from the get-go. And I'm trying to put some tanks up ahead, some medium tanks, onto his supply depot, and I'm going to try and take the supply depot out. But I know he's got tanks coming into the town. He's going to cross across the bridge here. And yeah, so my thing is, since this is a short video, and the game actually is going to cut itself off and turns off, and it depends on who's winning. If you guys see on the top right side, you have a blue and a red bar. I am on the blue team, and the Italians and the Germans are on the red team. And at the end of the timer, if your score is higher than the enemies, naturally you win. Above that, you see a little pie chart with a timer, and the pie chart basically determines every time I rotate in my century or in my years from 1939, 1945, and it tells you above it what year mark it is too. So it's pretty awesome stuff. This is one of those games I have had forever, and I can play over and over and over again. And you try different nations, and there's download content. Like one of the things you download too is Japan. You don't start out with that right away from the original game, but I think the download content for this game is pretty cheap right now. Almost free, if you will. And yeah, and every game has its different units. Every country has its different units, and it has its pros and cons. Like particularly, I used Britain. Britain has the average tank starting out 1939, but they get better as the time goes on. Same thing with the United States. The United States has a Stuart light tank and the Lee medium tank. Both those tanks starting out are really not that good at all. But as time progresses in 1943, 1945, those U.S. tanks are getting quite good, And that's basically the same thing with each nation. In Germany is a good example of that. They're the Panzer III, I think it is, they start out with. Once you get to 1943, you start having the Tigers, and then you get into the Super Tigers and the big stuff by 1945. It goes into multiple things, multiple aspects with that. You also have, the buildings that are available to you starting out are limited, and then what you have farther in the range. Also, certain like howitzers, I know for the United States, for example, the Long Tom doesn't show up till 1945, I think. Long Tom can pretty much shoot at anywhere on the map. The downfall to any artillery basically is also that if I cannot see it outside of the fog of war, I cannot shoot it. For artillery, I can shoot at it, but like if somebody puts a camouflage net on their buildings, if I want to shoot at it with artillery and I can't see it because I don't have a scout near it, I cannot shoot at it, because it's not going to be visible to me. The same thing if somebody puts, the radio silence on it. It's the same concept with that. As you guys can see here, I'm trying to make it pretty simple, and I wanted to get some action into the game, so I'm pushing my units forward fast. The games are usually longer than this, and what I try to do is strategically I try to play more for defense first while I supply, and that includes setting up anti-tank guns and such, putting up fortifications, because that's one thing you can do. You can have machine gun nests, you can put up anti-tank fortifications, anti-air fortifications. The Italians have one of the best ones, which is basically an 88 millimeter, I think, that does anti-tank and anti-air. The Germans have one of their bunkers is with a flamethrower, great against infantry, great against tanks. It comes along with like a 88 millimeter. Every country has a different style that comes with it, a different type of units. I'm trying to show you guys here also, once air forces you can build up too. I'm in 1945 now, so basically I have all available units. Some units I have to unlock. I have to actually do the research on them before I can use them. But But once you hit 1945, most of them are available to you already, so you can just jump right in and use them. The one thing I was not able to show you guys on this, because it's only 10 minutes long and it's expensive to build, is your big research facility, which has powerful super units in it, like super heavy tanks and such and things like that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you because it cost 140, and with only a 10-minute game, I wasn't able to effectively collect the money and still be able to show you guys a little bit of the attack, of the game. So, administrative buildings is one thing I'm showing you guys right here. Is a definite plus when you get 1945. You can build admin buildings. They are expensive, $100 a pop. You put them down, they collect one point or $1 per, I think, 2 seconds or 3 seconds, which is great because your actual depots over time will run out and you won't have any money left. And to collect your starting building that you start out with, your headquarters does collect you funds, but it's extremely slow by itself. You add those admin buildings to it. You add like 3 or more. 3 is basically what I usually put. I'm set. I don't even need those supply depots anymore. I'm good to go. Oh, it looks like my daughter just broke her little sword and she's about to cry about it. So, yeah. Daddy's gonna look at that and fix it probably later. Give me a second, sweetheart. I enjoy this game a lot, and I definitely think it's one of the best strategy games on the console, at least. If there's anything else out there, I encourage you, throw a comment on the bottom. Let me know, hey, look, check this game out. You'll like this game a lot, because I'm a big strategy fan. I like thinking when I'm playing, So, definitely. And the way I'm showing you guys too, also here's the way you put your orders. You can just throw your unit out there into an open area and let it do its own thing, because the unit will attack the enemy when it comes within range. Or you can basically launch like an aircraft from your airfield and it goes straight in for the attack. The game is well balanced. There is a lot of this unit is great against anti-tank gun, is great against anti-tanks. However, it sucks against aircraft, sucks against infantry. Infantry is great against other infantry, but it sucks against tanks. It is well balanced, and I like the historical to it. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit different things. Here's the main screen of the Ruse. Your special missions, these are actual historical missions they have. If you guys see the little blue plus on the bottom, that's because it's part of download content. You don't get that free with the game. You have to download that. But these are special missions you can play. You can play them co-op too. Some of them you can. You can get your friend online with you. He'll jump in with you. You guys can play together. It is a good time. Some of them are really hard though. So, thank you guys for watching once again. And maybe if you get it, let me know.